So Rags is 20 years old, and I had 3 young children, 4, 6, and 8, and a husband, and 2 dogs, and 2 cats, and a house, and the whole thing, and $6,500. That's it. And I read the one book I could find on how to open a consignment store. I kind of just felt like nobody's doing this. Why is nobody selling what I want to buy secondhand? Short of garage sales. It was pretty much super retro or vintage or antique, but there was no eBay and there was no Craigslist back then. There was barely internet. So I threw a couple of sales for my friends just to see if they would wear each other's clothes, and that went really well. And then I started having for about 6 months, maybe 8 months. I had 3 different sales at this place that I could rent for a weekend, and just gathered up clothes for months and months and months and put them all in there. And there was like line out the door and a little, metal cash box and kind of PVC pipe dressing rooms and stuff. And it kind of just went. Then I started looking for a space. I truly only had $6,500. I think my first month's sales were about $5,000. So it was kind of plodding through. I had less than 1,000 square feet, and then a year later, so I moved into the next space that was like 1,500, and then I moved into this space, which was about 4,000, and then just expanded to 6,500. So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. In the last 2 weeks, we've opened a store in the Highlands, which is going very well, and then opened a store a year ago in Cherry Creek. So it's kind of been a learning curve all over again. So, I mean, it's a long road, but because of the way I started out too, I always say it was interesting because I did everything on steno pads and notebooks and pencil and paper. There was no software for consignment, but it meant that I knew exactly where everything went and how it was all working, the systems were all working. So, I mean, I had my little kids in there putting colored marker on the tags when they were marked down, So, it was fun. So 11 years ago, it was kind of just an idea because I thought, why is no one doing nails in the between space? It's sort of the same as Rags, like what do I want to buy and how come nobody's doing what I want to buy? Which was, I didn't like the little junky spaces. They felt like you could hardly breathe because the air is so filled with chemical stuff, and I always felt like they were kind of talking about me in front of me. It all felt really uncomfortable. And then going to the super high-end places where it was sort of, I call it white robes and lemon water, wasn't what I was going to do every month to get my nails done. So I sort of just saw this niche, and it came to me sitting there on one of those big plastic throne of a pedicure chair and said, if somebody would just offer me a Diet Coke and turn on Oprah, I would be okay. I convinced a friend of mine that we should do this. I knew nothing about the spa industry, beauty and barber, anything like that. And she kind of put together, she was going to be my first manager, but run the store. I was going to be the idea and the money and the marketing ongoing. And then I fired her about 8 months into it, which was horrible. And so everything I thought I would be involved with has become this other thing. I'm completely involved in all of it and have always been cranky about it. So, but it's succeeding in spite of me. I did not even finish my history degree, so I have a year to go. Thinking about finishing. No, but I feel like I always had kind of an entrepreneurial curse or whatever that is. It's either a gift or a curse. But where I feel like I can see, I find myself going into businesses and not even consciously thinking, like, if they would just change the color of the walls, or these chairs aren't comfortable at a restaurant, or why don't they turn down the lights or put on different music or just stuff like that. I feel like I can sort of feel, and for whatever crazy reason I believe myself. So It's kind of design wise too. I just know what I like, and I'm fine with that. Rags is, I feel like this is my baby. This is the deal. Because I understand it, and I feel like if everybody walked away from it, I could do it. And I would do it. And I still love it. I walk in and, the fall sweaters and the crazy great boots and all that kind of stuff. I still love it all. Probably the different startups. Like, I had a couple $100,000 to put into 1020 when I started, and I had the $6,500 to put into Rags when I started. Well, we wanted to make sure is that these two new stores actually worked, because it's been 20 years since I started this one. Opening the store is not anything like it was, or not anything like the way I did it in the beginning. So we wanted to make sure we could get them open for the right price and get them staffed, and that it would work to just go down there. We essentially go down to Denver once a week and meet with managers and gather paperwork and all that kind of stuff. So we're just starting to think that, yes, we will probably open. And I'm from Austin, and I've wanted to go there for years, and there's still nothing like Rags in Austin. And then we keep hearing about, which I looked at years ago, is LA, that it has the same sort of, there's Buffalo Exchange, which is younger and retro and a whole different thing, and then there's the super high end where you have to ring the doorbell to get in the door in LA. So I think that would be fun. But the biggest one we use is called Help International, which actually takes it all over the world, which is pretty cool. We're thinking about doing like this box with a big pink bow and see where it goes in the world and who opens it up. But we give them a ton of stuff, and then we give Conscious Alliance, which gives to Native American reservations in the United States, and then the YWCA locally, and they outfit women for business situations. So, yeah. Well, one thing it has to be about, I don't know exactly, but it's women, because it's very much women staffed, women run, women owned, women customers. It's crazy. So it's, I think sort of respecting women and giving them quality products and services. It's really just standing up straight and being honest about what you do. And if ever we screw up, we say, hey, we screwed up. Let us make this better for you. And I think that's been huge through the years. You have to give it everything you have for a while. You have to be willing to be in it for a year or two without a break, without anybody else taking over for you, because I feel like if you hire someone to manage what you've been doing but you don't actually know what you've been doing, that won't work. You can't teach someone to do what you don't know you need to teach them to do. So I think one mistake that a lot of businesses make is to hire a manager too early. And then you need to be well aware that this is kind of like it all fails, but 90%-ish, you guys probably know this, of all small businesses fail. So you kind of have to be prepared for your failures so that if it doesn't work out, you can still step out into your life and you're okay. You're not squashed completely. But I don't know. I mean, it's enthusiasm. It's gumption and grit. And, it's you have to stand up there and learn how to do everything and do it really well and be really professional and all the things parents tell their kids about you need to speak well and you need to be respectful of people and you need to know how to answer the phone and you need to know how to smile and say things that are not so pleasant to people, just smiling.
I have known Margaret for just over 3 years, and I know her because I work here.
I guess I've known Margaret for about 7 months now, and same, just from working here, how I got to know her. I really like how involved she is, really, because I used to work for this boss back in the day that kind of just let her workers just do everything, and she kind of wasn't hands-on, and I didn't really like working for her as much. I felt like I couldn't really talk to her and like get to know her. But you can talk to Margaret without being scared of her. Just talk to her about anything.
I agree. I also love what Margaret's created here. I love being a part of it all. She lets me be creative. She lets me have input, and I really enjoy it.
It's just kind of cool to be a business owner and have two different businesses. And she just kind of started from the bottom, so it's interesting.
She's a really good person.
Yeah, she is just really nice.
She really cares about her customers. She goes way out of her way to make them happy. And it's really nice being a small business because you can really do that. She really takes care of people.